Are you ready to take a bite out of the competition? Are you looking for ideas to make your business better? Welcome to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet,
sponsored by Apple Capital Group.
At the core of every successful business, you'll find people making a difference. And with each episode of the Core Business Show, we talk with those people, examine those ideas, and explore the strategies that make them special. Now, the host of the Core Business Show, Tim Jacquet.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host. Today I have a pleasure of welcome to Victor Kwegyir. He's going to talk about pitch your business like a pro. So if you'd like to join our conversation, feel free to give us a question in the chat room or call us in the studio at 347-324-3460. Again, that's 347-324-3460. Also, you can email us at info@thecorebusinessshow, and we'd be happy to take your questions online or either on Twitter, however you want to submit it. So anyway, we're going to take a station break real quick and be back in a moment. You're listening to the Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host.
You're listening to the Core Business Show, sponsored by Apple Capital Group. Apple Capital Group in Jacksonville, Florida, is a commercial lender that specializes in asset-based loans, equipment leasing and financing, invoice financing, commercial real estate loans, and asset-based financing in the U.S. and Canada. Apple Capital Group is a direct lender that lends on their private equity investment portfolio. 90% of most loans are decided within 2 hours, and vendor funding within 24 hours after documents are completed with a one-page application. No slow no's, just a quick decision and a fast yes. To get more information about lending from Apple Capital Group, call 866-611-7457. That's 866-611-7457 to speak with one of our loan specialists. Or visit us right now at applecapitalgroup.com. Welcome back to the Core. Once again, here's Tim Jacquet.
Welcome back again to the Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host. Today, we're going to talk about pitching your business like a pro. We got a business expert, MBA expert. His name is Victor Kwegyir. He's going to talk about pitching your business. He has a new book that's out, Pitch Your Business Like a Pro, and he's calling in from the UK. So we're going to patch him in a few minutes. Again, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and email us at info@thecorebusinessshow. Good morning, Victor.
Hi, good morning, Tim. How are you?
Great. Thank you for coming on the show again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
You know, our customers, like I always mentioned in the past, really like to hear stories of, instead of reading the bios, really have the person talk about themselves. So, in mind, just kind of give us a sense. I know you in the UK. Kind of tell us, how you got started and how you got inspired to write this series of books.
Well, I've been in the UK for a while. I'm originally from Ghana. I came here basically to pursue a master's degree program, my postgraduate program, and afterwards worked a while. But all along, all my background has been the area of business support and banking and risk management and all those aspects with regards to finance, as well as raising of funds and stuff. When I started my business, the passion for me is to be able to see people with great ideas and concepts be able to start a business and successfully run it and be able to in their generation. I set myself up with that drive and desire. However, I realized that there is so much people I can meet one-on-one and all around the world, and I could be able to effectively share a lot of information and share the knowledge and experience I've gotten over the years with more people if I put the ideas in books. So what I set out to do was to always talk with my clients. Anywhere I speak, I do kind of speak to clients to see exactly what is missing, what are they not finding in the books that already exist, or what are the potential opportunities, or how could they identify opportunities if they're struggling. So that is what led me to be able to decide to write the books that I've been writing. This is my third book. And the book is basically one of the major tools that I've got to be able to help businesses and people aspiring to go into entrepreneurship or looking at that option, make a decision and be able to help them, guide them through the process.
What challenges do you see today facing I know you're in the UK, but facing the entrepreneur today? What are you hearing from the clients you speak to?
Well, most entrepreneurs, the challenge is, even though we've got a social media, which is kind of like opening us up to almost all potentials and markets all around us, most feel overwhelmed, most struggle to see how they can be able to cut themselves out, be able to set themselves apart, be able to distinguish themselves, and also how to be able to sell the idea to the right kind of people. Yes, the platforms are there, and I keep on telling people, you cannot just take the numbers on face value. For instance, if somebody says, oh, I've got so many number of people who are my followers, you got to seriously go behind the scenes to see who are these followers and stuff. So people have got a kind of idea, but they are struggling to see how to be able to maximize the opportunities. And secondly, what I always find with people as well is your funding. And most people have got a lot of ideas, but they are struggling to see. It comes down to where do I get a funding to be drive this idea forward, be able to bring this concept into reality. And it is part of the reason why I wrote this particular book, because in the book I talk about the various different funding options that's available to them. So from the ones that you can strategically do it for yourself and work your way through it, and to the ones that you can seek investors to help you.
Now, you mentioned the social media has really opened the floor to people in business. Do you see any other big challenges besides, now you have this item right here in marketing you never had before, probably 10 years ago. Do they have some other opportunities or some other things that you see that is a struggle that, they are having some type of other
Well,
issues?
largely, yeah, I think for most people, the thing is they seem to be overwhelmed with what is available, in that we keep on hearing, oh, well, this person did this. And, we all hear the news. I'm in the UK, but I get news feeds from the US, from Canada, from all different parts of Europe. And you get to hear of the next person who became successful, how they became successful. Oftentimes, people forget to read behind the scenes, behind the headline to see exactly what they did. Okay? And so people see it as like, okay, so how am I also going to do it? And these people come back to tell us, oh, they use Facebook or they use this particular marketing material. But generally, when you go behind it, you realize that in actual fact, it's something that they've been building for a while. But for a lot of entrepreneurs out there, I kind of like, okay, so how am I going to be able to maximize, use the same platforms that these guys are talking about and be able to make it? Okay. At the same time, social media has a way of letting people think that it's all that easy and it's all cool. You can just, start somewhere and just get it done. And forgetting about the fact that you need expert advice, you need professional guidance, you need the right type of tools. So the marketing challenge is there. At the same time, we also know that to be able to hire the right kind of experts and people to help you, you need also the resources to be able to afford these type of services. Yes, there are free options. Yes, there are cheaper options. But as we all know, the cheaper options can take you so far. You've got to do extra. You've got to get the right kind of help, the right kind of guidance, the right kind of tools to be able to help you to be able to maximize these opportunities.
Looking at those particular opportunities, if it's like the UK or Canada or the US, what type of avenues I think if they're in the UK or Canada that they might have available to them to kind of help guide them in forming a business plan or trying to put something together to make their business work? Some additional, people they can go to as a resource.
The interesting thing is this. I used to work for the EU, that's the European Union, and the World Assembly government as a business support advisor. We were being paid basically to supply our services for free. Okay. However, at the height of the economic downturn, most governments have to cut down costs, and they are still doing the austerity measures all over the place. So you find that most of these free resources that the governments and the various organizations were providing have been cut off. Those services are no more available. So now the strategy now is, okay, so where can they get the help? The best help, apart from you signing up to a marketing newsletter, signing up to for instance, my website business tips newsletter to get various feeds and information, or joining various business groups on Facebook to learn a few things. If you really, really want to get the best out of it, then the best thing is for you to seek a professional advisor. Okay, seek an expert in the field, and this expert these days you cannot limit yourself. I'm doing the radio show from London. I've got clients who are in the US that we do have Skype coaching sessions. We do have consultation sessions via Skype, via Viber, and via various media platforms and mediums. So yes, the resources are there, the tools are, the experts are there, but it's a matter of being able to find the right kind of resources and how to be able to maximize these ones to your unique situation.
Tell us about, when you put this book together, since this is I think this is your third book, is it? Or third or
Yeah.
fourth book? Okay. Kind of tell us
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I mean, was it really difficult in kind of formulating all this information to come with a book, or how did you actually put all of this together? Maybe did you do an outline, or you put idea by idea and form your book from that? How did you put this book together?
Very interesting question. I mean, the target was to write 3 books. I got those books, the titles, the outlines, and everything ready, but I just didn't feel the flow to write it. However, and I'm sure every author will bear with me that in writing, there's an aspect of it that you need a flow to be able to go with. Now, with this book just came about because I kept on watching. I do watch a lot of the ABC Shark Tank show as well as BBC. We have a different UK version called The Dragon's Den. And increasingly, and as well as in my seminars and individually, you find people come to me and they have the idea, but they just don't know how to sell themselves or how to be able to put themselves across, how to be able to articulate themselves clearly, articulate their vision, find the right kind of investor. So this one just came up, and it took me just about 3 months to put it together. The challenge was because there's not many books out there, I decided, okay, how am I going to make sure that this particular resource will have every component that you need to be able to make the whole process easy for the reader? And that's the reason why I came up with the 4 parts. The book has got 4 parts in addressing the issue of what pitching is all about. Okay, how to explain it, the benefits that if you know how to do it, or when you learn how to master it, how it can benefit you, as well as the various funding options that are available out there, from bootstrapping strategies to the crowdfunding platform. I try to help clients and readers be able to understand and appreciate exactly what goes on, how you can be able to maximize this platform, how to understand the platform and be able to use it well. And also, the most interesting aspect was the challenge with formulating the last part, which is the pitching itself. Because I wanted to see, I've never necessarily seen any book out there on pitching as a business. I wanted to see how can I be able to capture every aspect of pitching your business, pitching a vision to both clients for their business or to investors and partners and collaborators to be able to work with you. So that is where the major challenge was. It took me a while to be able to finally be able to come up with about 6 different strategies, 6 different ways, 6 different aspects of pitching that helps be able to address almost every aspect of what a person needs to know to be able to prepare themselves and position themselves as an excellent business person and people ready to be able to keen to listen to their story, right, what that they need.
If we dive into the book, for example, when you talk about the art of pitching, kind of tell us about the art of pitching.
Yes, the pitching is basically your ability to be able to sell yourself, be able to communicate exactly what it is you are offering. And we understand that when it comes to pitching, we are not talking just about the business. We are talking about your vision. We are talking about you as a person. Because most people buy into your business. They buy you, they buy your vision, and they buy your business. They are looking to support you. They are looking to help fund your business. They are looking to collaborate with you or partner with a co-author based in Louisiana. And of course, by the time we came together, we had to basically listen to each other with regards to where we are from, what we seek to do, what is our drive, and how do we get there. The same way, I've got a lot of clients that I help them to pitch their. When I wrote my first book, I needed funding to help me. I needed a friend to help me. I had to pitch my idea to the friend to let them know exactly what this book is for, who it's meant to do, where I think the gap is in the market, what benefit to bring them, how am I going to make the money out of it to be able to help them, be able to pay up whatever they are going to help me with, or let them benefit as well from it. So you've got to be able to. So the art is all about being able to sell yourself, being able to make yourself. It depends on the client. It depends on your audience. Okay, if it's an investor, it's a different approach. Even among investors, we've got equity investors. Okay, there are certain things that they look for. So I talk about it. Equity investors have a particular thing we look for, certain particular things that they focus on. There are debt funders. Debt funders look for a set of different kind of parameters to be able to assess whether you qualify for their funding. Then we've got grant providers. Grant providers have got their own criteria that they look at. So I really break them down in the book to let people know. I also talk about if you have to stand, which is often the case apart from sending your executive plan, you also talk about the fact that if you have to go and deliver a pitch, how your body language speaks a lot, okay? It's been said that we have about 700,000 different gestures as human beings. So the question is, how are you going to be, when you stand in front of people, how to be able to exhibit confidence, how to be able to stand right, how to be able to talk right, how to be able to communicate well, that nothing will distract the importance of what you are delivering. So these are the basic things that I go about when it comes to the book.
Okay, so kind of give us an example when you're actually talking in front of an investor group, what type of demeanor you should have?
The most important thing, you got to show yourself as a very confident person, okay? And confidence comes in a way. If you're standing there slugged, looking sluggish, standing there not well, probably properly suited or clothed, that you don't have to always wear a suit, but I'm sure we've seen it in Shark Tanks and stuff where somebody comes in, if their office attire, what they used to work is maybe, I don't know how you call it or whatever, we call it overalls for maybe a mechanic or somebody working in a manufacturing setting. You can have it there, but it must be clean, you must look smart, you must look business-like, you must look professional, okay? Mm-hmm. If you have to sit down, you cannot just sit down and just put one, cross your legs. It communicates some kind of arrogance, all right? Let's understand that oftentimes the person who you are meeting might have met you a few times, and they are going to have to kind of make a judgment of who you are as a person to be able to commit their resources to you. They don't have a lifetime to come to know you. So everything you put across forms part of their judgment. Okay? If you come across as somebody who kind of like thinks that they know all and is not ready to listen, is always just talking, not listening to anybody's, because in any pitching situation, ask questions. They will ask you a few things you don't know. Even your response, even where you don't know, says a lot about you. Okay? So it's all about you. It's all about how you communicate yourself. If you're going to go there, looks all scruffy and not properly set up. Nobody wants to commit their funds or their resources to somebody who is disorganized. Okay? You must show yourself as a professional person. You must show yourself, know what exactly you are offering. Okay? You understand the market. So these are some of the basic things. I talk about quite a number of them in the book.
You also talk about in the book maybe your master class pitching techniques.
Yeah.
Preparing the pitch. Do they need to go into a mirror or get an audience first and practice in front of them? How do you suggest that they actually prep for the class? Prep for the presentation?
Exactly what you said. I suggest you can start in the front of the mirror after you've put the pitch together. Because in the book, I did talk about exactly what goes into, I talk about two major types of, okay? We've got a data pitch, which oftentimes is between 30 seconds to 2 minutes, all right? And that kind of like give a precursor to whoever you are going to be speaking to. If they are going to give you the chance to now have the time to come and pitch the full pitch to them, oftentimes you have a short window to be able to make that impression. The question is, what are you going to say within that 30 seconds, okay, or within that 2 minutes? That will make the person want to be excited enough to want to give you the chance or maybe exchange card with you or invite you to come to their office or to their facility to deliver a full pitch, okay? So that aspect is there. What goes into that is brief. I talk about it in the book. I also talk about the full pitch, which normally takes up to about 30 minutes with questions, Q&A coming up about an hour. It depends how interesting or how in-depth the business strategy or the business model is. So there are different ways. Oftentimes people see the shows, the Shark Tank show, 3 minutes put together, condensed together, and you think that is all that the pitch is about. No, if you really, I've done a bit of research into it. Most of those guys, 3 minutes that we see, something that was shot within about 2 hours, okay, averagely. So it's a deception to think that it's just all within a few 3 minutes and that is it. No in-depth questions that will be asked you, okay, and you've got to be able to deliver. All right, so I talk about the various things that goes into the pitch itself, yes? And when you are practicing, you can do it in front of a mirror. You can do it in front of a trusted friend, somebody you trust, their genuine advice. I'm not just talking about just your buddies in the house or family people who always just encouraging you. You want somebody who might potentially is very critical and can be able to critique you in your presentation. It's very helpful. Not somebody who is going to obviously put you down, but You want someone who's very objective. But the most important thing is what goes into that pitch. It's so, so, so important. What goes into, whether it's an elevator pitch or the full pitch, what exactly goes, which I talk about in the book.
Okay. Let me back up for a second. You said in your successful pitch, in your bonus round in your book, can you talk about briefly the successful pitch, sales pitch?
Yes, I talk about sales. The sales pitch obviously is to clients, is to be able to win over customers. And oftentimes when we start a business, oftentimes we are running the business alone. So when it comes to you being able to access the right kind of clients out there and be able to see how you can be able to bring your business in front of them to let them be able to buy into the business. I mean, I talk about 13 different steps that you need to follow to be able to win the kind of business. I talk about you have to be very objective and set objectives for yourself when it comes to going for a sales pitch. You got to know about who exactly is the decision maker in the business. Okay, if you're going to sell to a particular business or even in a household, okay, you don't just go and be spending all the time and energy pitching to the daughter or the person who has no authority on decision making. All right, you want to try and access and be able to have access to the person who is a decision maker in that house or in that business so they can spend more time. Yes, I understand there are times you want to go to certain organizations, you might have to book an appointment through the reception. That is fine, but you don't want to spend all your time and dealing with the receptionist who has no control whatsoever in the final decision. So there are certain things that you got to look at, and it's all in the book. And you also have to have a purpose for every meeting that you attend, okay? And in your communication, you got to be very clear and simple. And you got to be very specific as well in whatever you deliver. And most important, you got to highlight the benefit to the client or the customer. It's not about you, it's about them. That's the most important thing you always want to have at the end of your mouth, in your mind. That is always about the client. It's always about the client. So that is very important.
Okay. We're going to see if I know you gave me a clip about your book. We're going to see if we can take a break real quick and play it. I don't know how long it's going to be, but probably if we can't do it, just kind of be prepared to tell us about your book ad. So give us a few seconds and see if it plays. Okay, I think it converted well. So kind of tell us about your book ad, if you don't mind.
The book is basically, as I've already explained, I mean, it's all about how to be able to access support out there in helping make your dream a reality. Okay, and I talk about how to be able to find support. I talk about angel investors. I talk about venture capitalists. I've got a list of angel investors that you can contact from wherever you are. These are global players. Most of them have got local branches in any country that you can access them. I talk about your business plan, what goes into your business plan, because every pitch you would need a business plan to support your pitch. No matter how excellent it is, your business plan will be requested of you to be able to, for them to make their decision. And also the most important thing, you want to also understand it yourself. You must understand what business that you are into. The book is available both in paperback and in ebook. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes and Nobles. You can get it on most booksellers. You can get it on your iBook store for your iPad or for your iPhone. It's also on available on Nooks, on Sony Reader, Diesel, Kobo. You can get it on every format that you want, apart from working on the audio version. You can also get it from my website, and there's an offer there for free delivery if you get it from my website as well. That is www.vike. It's www.vike. That is V for Victor, I for India, K for Kilo, E for Echo. So VikeBusinessServices.com. The business services is full word. So www.VikeBusinessServices.com. It's available there. You can order it, and I can get it to you, and it's free delivery as well for anybody who orders it directly from our website.
Perfect. And I know we talked at the beginning of the hour. You were talking about your sister has a restaurant in Denver. Outside of Denver.
My sister has got a restaurant, a very wonderful African-oriented restaurant. It's called African Grill in Aurora, Denver. And anybody can just pop in there and tell they heard it from the brother in the UK. They can potentially get a discount. They can potentially get a discount on their meal that day.
Perfect. I really appreciate it. And again, your website address again is
www.vike. That is VIKE corebusinessservices.com. I can also be contacted on Facebook. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Pinterest as well as Google+. So I'm available. And interestingly, my name is the only name among the 7 billion people on the planet. You will never get Victor Kwegyir anywhere. Yes. So when you put my name in Google, it will bring everything about me. You can find me anywhere, connect with my blog, connect with all my platforms, and we can always do business from wherever you are.
Perfect. Well, Victor, thank you for coming on the program again. I really, really appreciate it. And hopefully some people can go out and, besides getting your book, also, come visit your restaurant, your sister restaurant outside of Denver in Aurora.
That would be great. That would be great. Thank you so much, Tim. It's always a pleasure to speak on your show and to be a help to your listeners as well. Looking forward to great opportunities ahead of us this year.
Great. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. You're listening to The Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host. You can download this episode on iTunes or Blog Talk Radio, which is streaming and all the archives. Or you can go ahead and email us at info@thecorebusinessshow.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you for listening to The Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. For more information about equipment financing and asset-based loans, visit our website, applecapitalgroup.com. That's applecapitalgroup.com. Or call us at 866-611-7457. We hope you'll join us for our next episode. And remember, you can always get to the core via iTunes. You'll find all our previous episodes there. And thanks again for listening to The Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.